Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Lonely Wrist. Sitting in front of us, this is going to be a first for us, but not do we do not have a wristwatch company. In fact, we have an alarm clock manufacturer, Båge and Söner, and we have Lisen here. Going to be talking about the brand. Incredible product. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here, and thank you so much for having me on board.
Thank you for being willing to come on. This is I haven't seen too many of your other I mean I've seen some of the articles that you've done, but I haven't seen that you've done any podcasts. Is this a first for you?
No, this is my third, but I mean third in 4 years' time, so it's not that I do them every day.
That's
No, it's been I've
that's
been
okay.
on the monocle one. I've been on a Beyond Horology. I've been on.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
this is actually my fourth because I've been with Benke and Berns as well.
Okay.
A
Well,
Swedish. Yeah.
as long as we're top 5, I think. So, I think I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. And the second internationally, this is very big. So
Thank
thank you very much, and an honor
thank
to be
you.
here. Yeah.
I'm curious about so whenever I had got my alarm clock from you guys, I haven't thought about owning an alarm clock for a really long time. How did you decide to bring some? I mean, I think this is technology that we all not a lot of people have these anymore.
No.
Um, so what made you decide to start an alarm clock company?
I mean, the kind of the why came from within, I must say. I was so tired of having the digital screen inside my bedroom, and I was caught up in it. Just ate up my time, and I didn't feel any better or wiser, or and plus on top of that, you go to sleep, but I'm an early bird sleeper, and so I went to bed and I said, okay, now I'm going to go to have an early night in, and I have 4 kids, 4 sons, and so I have busy life at home. So I was okay. I'd have an early night in, and then this just read, see if there's just answer that last the text message, or then there's the email, and then the news, and then all the social media, and then bam, an hour easily, maybe 2 hours, and not any wiser, and my sleep train kind of passed. So I felt an urge to just reclaim my bedroom with an alarm clock, and I couldn't find anything that I liked, and so I looked around, and as alarm clocks haven't been on the kind of cool market for a long time, there was nothing really fun to buy, and I like nice things, and for a long time I've been wanting to start my own company, and so it's kind of like a double dream. I met with Federico Casado, and together he has a watch background, and he has visited many of the big houses of the clocks, because he was working for one of the big chains here in Sweden, and he was sorry, Philip, du måste gå ut. Close the door. Sorry,
That's okay.
Sorry, we have to cut this one out. So please excuse me. I was looking around for alarm clocks anyway, and so I met with Federico, who was also. It was just a good timing, and we started the journey together. I had this idea from my childhood memories of bringing back the travel alarm clock that I think many have a reference to, from their childhood memories of or an old auntie or someone has had this kind of triangular. Did you have one? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
No. Because
Yeah.
it's the travel alarm clock, which is like a triangular one that you would stand up and it could fold back into a little case.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
honestly, the only alarm clocks that I've owned have been the little digital radio ones.
Oh,
So,
yes. I
so
had one of those when I was little. Very cool.
yeah.
Waking up to the radio.
I'd wake up to like the most gangster rap music every morning when I was that young.
Yeah.
So
That's a that's a bit of a rocky start,
yeah, it
but
was. It
yeah,
was.
yeah, why not? But anyway, so I was we were looking around, and it took us almost 2 years, and then a little bit of COVID as well occurred during the time of um, setting the design and finding the right suppliers and everything. But I wanted to make something that would last long and would be something as sustainable as you can be, because if you make something that's long lasting, it has a long standing value for both the owner and also the materials. They have a long lasting, yeah. I love the alarm clock. I'm looking at it now. um, Makes me very happy every morning when I wake up, and I love my little procedure of flipping the little button to the side
Yeah.
with the alarm on. It's very nice.
Yeah, I have
Mm.
been thoroughly enjoying mine. Uh Opposite to the harsh rap music I used to wake up to, it wakes you up very gently.
Mm.
It's it's very weird because the phone, like I'm used to waking up by the phone, and the
Mm.
phone will just go crazy, just blasting these crazy sounds at you, and you think like
Mm.
you're having to like evacuate like the entire city
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
it's so
And
obnoxious.
yeah, it's so obnoxious. Plus, it has also like 9 minutes of snooze, I think, which is
Yeah.
a little bit on the long side eh, for
Uh,
me, anyway.
it yeah, it hasn't. It's something I didn't really think about. I didn't realize that how important it was. I mean, obviously, I think about like the most important way that I start my day is like I get my tea, I get my breakfast,
Mm.
but how you wake up is something I never really like thought about. Um,
Mm.
and you talked about your grandmother's clock as kind of like
Mm.
the inspiration.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
sorry.
the absolutely the big inspiration, my grandmother's clock. And I think I was thinking of the childhood memories of of sleeping peacefully. And I was visiting my grandmother. My grandparents lived in Switzerland, in Lausanne, and I was also always, cuddling in her big, nice bed, and she had this nice alarm clock on her bedside table, which I, yeah, just thought of like peaceful, nice moments. And that's how you want to wake up, isn't it? And also how you want to sleep. You want to have your bedroom in harmony, um, not any disturbance, or just trying to have that kind of peaceful, dreamy
Yeah,
place.
yeah, is that so? I think I saw the photo. That's the photo of on your website of that you
Yeah, that's
did.
that's. I mean, I'm not sure my grandmother would approve of me putting it there. She was also a very, very chic lady, but yes, that's my grandmother Suzanne, and my brother, one of my little brothers, Carl, who's also done the logo actually for
Wow.
Båge and Söner, and the packaging, and he's been helping me a bit, and me in that bed when we were
Do you
little.
do you still have the alarm clock? Did you somehow?
No, no,
Oh, that's sad.
unfortunately, it just kind of, yeah. I'm not sure it was working the last. This was, yeah, I don't know where it went, but it was not one of those. I know that Audemars Piguet, and it was not one of those
Like
big
fancy
brand
ones.
clocks.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it kicked off your passion
Hmm.
for horology, which is
Yes.
I think what we share in common.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
Obviously today is a very digital world, and you talked about kind of separating the smartphone from the bedroom. I guess what kind of made you believe in, this timeless value of, physical alarm clocks and,
I think we are all reading more and more uh, from researchers and from well-being, well-beers or whatever, that sleep is really essential for all well-being. I mean, if you want to lose weight, you want to keep you want to stay away from all old dementia. You want to, focus. You want to just well-being in general, be happier, everything. I mean, we all know how that wonderful feeling of a good night's sleep is kind of like sets your whole day in a good mood, kind of. So I think that's kind of that was my own kind of wanting that. But why I did just Båge and Söner was I wanted to make something really, really nice. And I love watches. And I mean, if you were looking on the market, there's nothing, of as nice to buy with the modern. We put a little light and the snooze to this kind of very simple, disconnected classic alarm clock. But we did it, in with leather, uh, tempered mineral glass, nice metals, nice colors, decorated dials. We tried, like, to take a lot of elements, as many as we could, to from the fine watchmaking houses into our clock.
yeah,
The,
I like I said, whenever you guys had reached out to me about,
Mm.
like setting this up, I didn't know what to expect. Uh,
Yeah,
and then I unboxed it and I was like, this thing is like a brick, you know? It's
yeah,
so heavy. And then yeah, I mean, I was impressed. A lot of times when people reach out to me and they send me something, or uh I'm not the type of person where I want to go on and endorse a product that I don't feel comfortable endorsing.
mm,
Call it pride, integrity, whatever.
mm,
Um, but I don't go online just to say negative things about products. And so if a brand sends me a product, and this happened, they send me a cheap watch, and I'm like, look, like I don't think I'm the right type of creator that you're seeking. I'm not going to go and read from this script, and I don't have much good to say, so I just would not say anything. Um, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been very impressed. Uh, and I love Sweden. I love Sweden. I spent quite a
oh,
lot of
thank
time
you.
in Stockholm,
Oh,
and
you do, you must come and visit us.
yeah, yeah.
Ah,
I'm in the process right now of planning stuff for Watches and Wonders, and
ah.
I have to,
Switzerland.
yeah, I have to go shoot some in Germany, and then I have to, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure when I'm coming out of Germany, maybe I could stop by and see you guys.
That would be a pleasure.
And
We're just today signed a new premises that we're moving to in a month's time, so
wow,
maybe we can
so
meet you there.
yeah, no,
Mm.
and something that I noticed about like spending quite a lot of time in Stockholm is the lifestyle, like the quality of life in Stockholm, or just I mean, I'm assuming in Sweden in general, is so important to the Swedish mentality.
Mm.
And having like a good work to life balance, like eating healthy, like being active, like being in touch with nature, like these are all things. I mean, not as much so in Stockholm, but in other parts of Sweden. um and obviously, I mean, Sweden is known for having great design. I mean, and you can walk down like the Gamla, and then I mean, you could pretty much, like, every corner you see like a niche product store where it's like high quality furniture, or like high quality like clothing, or like linens, and it's all like Swedish
Yeah.
designed. And
Yeah, Gamla Stan is very much like that, because that's where you have the ancient, a lot of handcraftsmanship is located there. It's the old town. It's so pretty and so much heart there. Lots of tourists as well, but it's really worth going. But I agree, Swedes are very, I think it's called allemansrätten, that we love to go out in nature, and that's something that that I love. It's kind of essential in my everyday life, to go out, to be outside. I walk to work every day. I try to stay in the week as to sports, and I try to be outside. I love it. But I think also that reflects also in the product names that we have. It's the name that are inspired from nature and dreams. And you have an afternoon delight there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So the name was inspired to have like an afternoon delight nap, maybe.
The song is that?
Yeah.
That's
No,
what.
but like, having an afternoon delight, afternoon nap, but like an afternoon delight, like giving yourself a bit of an afternoon delight. That was kind of the inspiration for the name. But like here I have the French kiss, which is the same that you have, but I have the red.
And that's got the gold face, the gold plating, or the gold
Yes,
metal.
exactly. That's got the gold. Yeah, this one has the gold. And then I have also with me today the Båge Söner with monocle that we did a very special edition. I don't know if you want to. Want me? Have you seen that one?
No, I don't think so.
So this one is limited edition, and it has
I
a
did see
California
this.
dial. Yes.
Yeah.
A good light on it. See. So it has Arabic and Arabic
numerals.
and Roman numerals. So
Yeah.
as the traditional, and sun ray in the inner alarms.
I love California dials.
And this one is actually called California Dreaming.
Wow.
So yeah,
it's insanely beautiful.
Thank you.
What elements do you feel like make your alarm clocks stand out? I mean, obviously, when I think of an alarm clock, I think of like a plastic, digital square with like a radio and a snooze button that's like the size of like my cell phone. But to you, like, what defines, what an alarm clock should be?
Just Båge Söner or Båge Söner alarm clocks. I think that we have really captured. I think we found a uniqueness in our clocks, and they are all. You can feel it from the weight, as you said yourself, but also in how the dials are decorated. They're not like just printed, like all other alarm clocks have printed dials. This one has the applied indices and patterns in their inner alarm zone. I mean, the whole dial is divided in 3 different zones, so to speak. You have the outer and inner, well, the inner alarm zone, and then the outer part, and then the divider in the middle. Also, the hands are shaped a little bit. It's all decorated, and it's made with. We mount them all in our workshop. We shape the leathers, Swedish leather, calf leather that we usually work with mostly Swedish leather. We have a few models in Italian lamb nappa, but it's all true premium materials that age beautifully. And no, I'm so proud of our clocks. They are, I think they are one of a kind. And I think it's, in the old days, they used to have table clocks everywhere. If you look on the antique stores, there's a few table clocks. And so this is a table alarm clock. So of course it's smaller, but I think this is something that it's hard to find nice table clocks in general. If you want, I like to put it on I always have one on my desk so I can focus on what I'm working on, even though, of course, my my computer is connected.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have an entire studio here, so I have to stay connected. There's a table
Mm.
here for shooting.
Mm.
Ironically,
Of course.
my wife does her
Yeah.
nails over there. She's got a little nail
Ah,
studio,
all right.
and,
You have,
and
love the
and
family business. Huh?
yeah. I mean,
Mm.
it's for person. Hers is personal, but this is.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, I've got like 14 lights here. I've got like 7 cameras down there.
Wow.
It's hard to have that kind of separation.
Yes,
Um,
it is hard.
and and I read too. So which of the elements are handmade? You just talked about the pattern on the
Mm.
dial. I mean, is that
I
done by
think
hand or?
everything is made, custom made for us according to our drawings and everything. So all the parts, but not the movement. The movement we have added a snooze and alarm to it, but that's off the. It's nothing. We buy it off the shelf as it is. But all other parts, the mineral glass, the gasket, the backside. What we do in our studio is what we mount them. That's what we do. So all the parts are made specially for us in Asia, and then we mount them, and we mount also the leathers we make in our workshop. So we do all of that at the place. But like, the minute hand counts and the alarm clock. I mean, the alarm hand count. They're all in. We all mount. So it takes a little while to make one, but it's not as long as if you would have done the movement yourself too.
Yeah. And that was something that I thought about too. I mean, obviously, I don't know much about alarm clocks or desk
Mm.
clocks or anything, but was there a lot of options for movements? I mean, do you have like this huge catalog where you can be like, oh, well, we can choose this or that or this? Like,
No, there's a lot of new movements around, but it's we are working with the one that we found was absolutely the best on the market for us. But there is nothing to buy actually if you want to add the snooze and alarm to the movement. There's lots of movements if you want to just have, a clock with no functionality, just a normal clock. There you could buy a lot, but on the alarm clock segment, there's a lot in the same kind of region, and there's no high. There's a lot of the movement is actually not so high, high end. So it's a very good. It's as good as it can get for now. It's the best one we found, but there's a lot of cheap movements around on the market. So high quality alarm clock movements is hard to find.
yeah, I don't even know where to start.
There's a lot of brands they buy off the shelf from Switzerland, or there's from Germany, or Miyota, from Japan, or so there's, and then you can make your own design and you make your own design, which is basically what we've done too. But we couldn't buy the movement we have to buy it from Asia.
Yeah. We actually had another Swedish brand on the podcast, and they make wristwatches. But they talked a lot in their episode about like what it means to be from Sweden and to have like a premium product.
Mm.
So I kind of wanted to ask you something along the lines of, what does being a premium Swedish product mean to you, and how important is it to bring your culture and your pride into a product like being a Swede?
I think it means a lot for us to bring the Swedish pride into our clocks, and I think to be a Swede is you were mentioning it before, but we are very aware of quality and design. And I think that for me, it means a lot to bring a product on the market that people can enjoy and to enhance the life quality of their sleep and their the bedroom harmony, so to speak. And I would love people to get inspired to do that. I think it's a tough world out there, and we all live very intensive lives. I think to bring a product that is both beautiful and have high quality to a market where we all are needing this type of. I think we all would benefit. Not needing, but we all would benefit from to kind of maybe slow down a little bit, to retake some time for yourself in the day's 24-hour. For me, I made the slogan, "It's time to reclaim your bedroom," and it's just kind of that's one room, but you could also say it's a few hours of the day's 24-hour when you are just disconnected and you are with yourself, and that enhances your quality of your life.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you see what I mean? I'm trying. Sorry, my English is.
No,
It's okay.
you're doing amazing. Um, yeah, I'm assuming when you went down this rabbit hole, you know, what was your sleep routine like before you designed an alarm clock? Like you said
Mm.
you would flip through the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of sleep experts recommend, removing digital devices from the bedroom.
Yes.
Um, what do you feel like are some of the most damaging things to our sleep and to our routine? And what, how can you advise people how to get out of those patterns?
Hmm. I think it's good to kind of maybe set a time on when you said, okay, so it's 9 o'clock now, basta, no more messaging or emailing. It depends on how your daily life is, but for me, I try to go to sleep at 10. So even before 9, I try to put my phone away. I do put my phone away, put it on charge, or I just leave it outside, and then I concentrate on my kids and myself, and try to my hubby as well, my husband, and try to. I think try to have kind of a good routine. To not bringing it into the bedroom is a good one. Just putting it on the same spot every day. Okay, good. That's kind of like my routine. I put it there, just outside my. It's like in the hallway outside my bedroom, and then go brush my teeth, comb my hair, getting ready for bed, read with my son, and then go to bed. And try to talk a little bit with your husband about the day's routines. Well, in general, I try to kind of also after work try to not come home and just look at my phone. Try to kind of a little bit disconnect myself from the ongoing, which try to kind of slow things down a little bit. But I have 4 children, and
Oh my
it's
gosh.
14 years apart, so it's from the youngest to the oldest.
Oh my gosh.
And so before actually launching the alarm clock, you were asking, it's 14 years apart. So whilst the 15-year or like 14 and a half year olds were going out for the first time, and my little one was actually, feeding time still at night sometimes and waking up, and would be caught up looking at the time, like, did they come home yet from going out? And then, oh no, he's crying. Okay, no, okay, does he need eating or just a pacifier? Or so it was. I felt my sleep was very disturbed from that. So I think in general, it's a very good routine to not bringing it into the bedroom. But of course, it happens to me too.
What type of feedback are you hearing from customers that are, switching from, more digital alarm clocks or cell phones? I mean, I
Mm.
again, I would have never jumped on this podcast if I didn't feel like, you had a great product and something useful. And yeah, I've been sick, and I had the flu over the weekend, and it was rough. It
Oh,
was
for you.
rough, but I had turned my alarm clock off, um, and then on Sunday, I turned it back on, and I woke up and I felt like I was like much improved. And mind you, I've been taking medicine to knock me out. Um, but what have you heard from customers that are now using your product, and what's the feedback been?
I'm so overwhelmed actually from many clients who are customers who write to us and saying thank you so much. We had a very fantastic, sweet Australian lady who wrote to us and she's saying thank you. She bought a starry sky and she said the starry sky means the world to me. And she was very unhappy before, and now she's having the starry sky next to her when she goes to bed, and she was feeling very happy again with the starry sky, and she feels she's under the stars with her starry sky. So that was very sweet. But in general, I must say, our customers are very pleased. They are we are they feel it feels like the alarm clock grows on them to become their buddy, their little friend next to them on the bedside table. So you get a little relationship to your clock. Greets you in the morning, says good night to you at night. So and even though that's not how they describe it, but it's like if they if there's a clock that needs to be serviced, and they send it to us, and when can I have it back, and I miss it so much and I love it. And so it's a very close relationship. I feel like we our Båge Söner alarm clocks are they are loved. We have hardly any return rates. There are no returns, I think. I think we sold 1,400, more than 1,400 clocks last year. I think we had 10 returns
Wow.
max. So that's very high.
So, something too, like I never really thought about, and this whole past year, and I've moved, and I went through some
Mm.
family tragedies and things like that. But
Sorry.
during the move, and I kind of was like taking stuff out, and my entire room was just looked like a tornado had came through.
Mm.
And the only part of my room that wasn't like a tornado or like a crime scene was my nightstand. And the only thing that I keep on my nightstand are my glasses, my ring, my watch, and now my alarm clock.
Oh,
So
thank you.
so so
Mm.
there's very it's one of the first things you see, right, when you wake up. And
Yes.
that's the whole reason why I got into watches. And now my dad, my dad passed away, but uh now I have his wristwatch.
Mm.
And the coolest thing to me is now understanding that the second my dad woke up, the first thing he did, reach onto his nightstand and put his watch on.
Mm.
And so now I have the ability to do that. So, um, so yes, I didn't, I haven't thought about these things before, introducing an alarm clock, but it's one of the first things you see before you go to sleep. And it's one of the first things you see when you wake up.
Mm.
And you know, it's very special. You know, the only, you know, the only other things that could kind of fit into that boat are, you know, like maybe your significant other, you know, maybe your animals, your pets, if you sleep with your dogs or cats. But
Mm.
there's not too many things on that list that you can say every single morning I wake up and I first thing I see is that. And
No.
and so it has all the key elements to be important and special for the rest of days, you know, which
Mm.
is a very weird thing to think about.
Mm. It is. It's one of those. It's a very. It's very precious and very beautiful. Love how you have your relationship with your dad's watch. It's really beautiful, and I think it's the same with your with the clock. It grows. It you get a relationship and connection with it, and it's also kind of a peaceful. It makes you at home, like you say. You feel at home when you have it. You set your eyes. I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, and I press the little side button, and I have the little light. It kind of I don't know. It settles me down. It's kind of okay. It's it's only 4:15. I can sleep a little longer.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I think the way that I feel about my dad's wristwatch is the same way that you feel about your grandmother's alarm clock,
yeah.
you know?
You want to
Um,
bring that kind of like that feel,
yeah, it's like
heartwarming.
I know that he's next to me, you know?
Mm,
Um, you know, situation's a little different, but yeah, it's a very special thing. And you know, my friend, you know, it's a bigger watch than I would normally wear.
mm,
But you know, I said something to my friend. I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't wear it as much. I was wearing it yesterday actually. Um, and he's like, well, why don't you wear it more? I'm like, oh, it's a little bit bigger, but it's my dad's. And he's like, well, why don't you sell it and get something? It's like get selling it and get something smaller. I was like, no, like how can I do that? Like this was his. Like this was like, yeah, it just um. But in anyways, so yeah, the way that I feel about his watch is the way that you feel about your grandmother's alarm clock. It's one of those things that
mm,
thankfully I'm in possession of it and I will never let go of it. I've got two of his watches. And he was actually borrowing one of my watches because I was collecting watches before. Um and ironically, like my dad had a hip replaced like maybe like 5 years ago. And
mm,
then so he then his other hip went bad. And then he just started kind of getting like things back up and running. And he was like, Blake, like let's go, you know, to a watch store and let's get a wristwatch. And you know what would you suggest? And it was like me, my dad, my wife. I took him down to my local watch shop, and we you know spent hours just picking something out and going through everything. And so it's much deeper than just something that he owned. And I remember too, you know, my dad, as long as the time was right, like he didn't care. Like if the date was wrong or anything else, like he just. And so every like maybe like every like once a month or something, he would you know like call me, and you know because of his mobility issues, we lived together.
mm.
um he would like scream like Blake, like come change the date. You know, he's like I don't know how to do it, or like well my watch stopped running or something, like come fix it. And
Mm,
so then I would have to show him how to like wind, you know, take the crown out and wind it. And you know his bezel would be all like like twisted around.
yeah.
It was a Breitling. But I'll send you a picture of it.
Mm. I'd love to see it.
It's
And
cool.
yeah.
it, it's cool. um are there any elements of Swedish culture craftsmanship that you feel are kind of disappearing? Um, and if yes, how does Borga and Soner like preserve those elements, those ideals?
I'm not sure if there are any elements that disappear, but I think that they're just Swedish. But I think in
Well,
I want
Sweden.
to in
You can,
I want to embrace kind of the nature and the world of dreams, and I think that's something that I'd like when you we talk a lot about, you know, try to retake your dreams, and to do that is that's why we put also all the names is like it's oh honey, for example. You wake up and you're like, oh honey, your dreams, or forest dreams, or sea breeze, or it's like the sensual the sensation sensations as well. French kiss could be someone who just breezes a little kiss on your a tribute to my grandmother. She was French from origin, so that's why we have the tricolor, the French flag. You know, the blue and white and red.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
inside.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think in terms of Swedishness, nature is very important to Swedes, as you were saying before, as we've been discussing. But I'm not sure if there's any special thing that Båge Söner is bringing back. I think that to start a company and you start with doing a lot of craftsmanship, like, you know, people that come to our office are customers, or like, wow, did I buy a clock and you're doing all of this here? Did I know this? It's amazing. It's They are truly impressed, and I think that's something to bring back, to understand. That's been something for me too, that while you know, bringing the Borgensana to life, to understand and to respect the craftsmanship behind everything, like all things in general, actually, that's actually a person, you know, even though they're machined, you know, machined, CNC machined or something, somebody has to do that and put it back in their little to be careful enough to wrap it up and to place it so it's all perfect for us to kind of build from. Or every leather that we choose, that we see, okay, this skin is a good part from the yeah, of the skin that we can use, and this is not so good, so we can maybe have to save it for something else. um it's I think the natural the resources of nature is something that I've been trying to think about when we were building this watch, this clock. I mean, to
Like
respect that too.
sustainability is very
Yeah,
important.
it's very important. And when you build a new product, I mean, of course, building a new product, there is no way to, I mean, it's not sustainable to build a new product because you
Sure,
have
sure.
to break new elements. But if you build a product that will last for a very long time and you can repair it, if the light goes, it's a light bulb, you know, lights, they break. Your lamps at home, sometimes you have to kind of, you know, change them.
Sure.
It it can happen, and we've had some clients that, oh, my 3-year-old dropped mine on the on the stone floor. The glass broke. Can I change it? And yes, of course, we can do, because the craftsmanship is, we own our workshop where we can do everything, and I think that's I'm very proud of that, on how it's all coming together.
The question is a deeper rooted question than
Mm.
maybe you know, one would expect. But let me tell you from my American perspective, because
Mm.
when you think about Sweden, oh my God, I'm going to sound so terrible for saying this, but
Mm.
we think about H&M, we think about fast fashion and cheap furniture,
Mm.
but
IKEA.
but well designed. We're like,
Mm.
oh yeah, we're like, oh, the IKEA furniture is so trendy, it's so cool, it's such a unique design, but it's cheap and it falls apart.
Mm.
And obviously, I've been to Stockholm, and what is so different and weird is none of those things are embedded in the Swedish like ethos, if that's the right word for it.
Mm.
Like it's the exact opposite of what Sweden should be known for, which is like artisanal, like handcrafted, high quality. Uh, and I remember when I was in Stockholm, and I, I'd walk up and down, like I said, the Gamla like every day,
Mm.
and uh, it was colder than I expected. I live in Las Vegas, so
Oh,
um,
yes.
and
You
so
don't want to come today. It's like -5 and
oh god,
blowing. Oof.
no, thank you. But I walked into H&M, and whenever you're like, oh cool, like I'm gonna go get some clothes, like you think like
Mm.
H&M, and in this case like Zara or like things like that are
Mm.
very fast fashion,
Mm.
and they're very cheap. And when I went into the H&M store, um like there was nobody in there, right? And I mean they have these
Mm.
huge stores, but they're not popular. And then I met like one of my I met somebody there. Like I was staying at a hostel, and he was like a student, and he was like a Swedish student, and he was like he lived in outside of Stockholm, and he would come stay at a hostel like in Stockholm like during the week when he was going to school, and then he would
Mm.
like go back home outside of Stockholm. And then he had said something to me. He was like, dude, like nobody nobody like shops it there, like like let me show you some real like Swedish clothing stores. And
Yeah.
he took me around, and I mean I'll never forget it, because not only was it like super high quality, but I mean the price was great,
Mm.
like everything I can't he actually worked at one of those clothing stores.
Mhm.
um So the only reason why I'm going on this crazy tangent is because people have this American mentality that Swedish is exporting the garbage to us, and
Oh,
hanging on
no.
hanging on to
Ah.
the good stuff. Maybe it's just me, but
Yeah, maybe. But you're right. We have one of our big export success companies are those two that you were mentioning. They are very big and very successful. Um, but I think both of those are, well, like all companies nowadays, they have to think about sustainability and try to market themselves as more sustainability friendly. But I think that Swedes uh, are. I mean, in general, in terms of shopping, I think a lot of Swedes are very good at online shopping. So there's not so many people. It's very empty if you go into shops.
yeah,
And that's I don't know if it's the same situation in America, but
nope,
no. So that
no,
I think we are. I think we're very digitalized here. And that's very, it's kind of sad in a way because it's nice when people come together. It's you meet people and you interact and you can feel a lot. But I think also a lot of companies have very big problems with return rates when you buy online, and you don't, doesn't, you cannot feel and see it properly.
it's have you heard about, so at least Amazon, right? So
Mm.
yes, we are very prone to online shopping.
Yeah.
But because of the way that the distribution is set up for Amazon, and it might be the same in Sweden, I could be
Mm.
wrong, but I can
Mm.
order something right now, and
Yes.
in 2 hours it can be at my door, no
You're
matter
joking.
what it
Wow.
is.
That's amazing.
If it's
That's so fast.
yeah, I mean it'll be at my door, if even if it's one thing. I remember when I was sick over the weekend, I didn't
Mm.
have the energy to go out and get medicine. So I
Mm.
ordered some medicine to my door, and it was there in an hour.
That's
I just
fantastic.
ordered the one bottle of medicine, and it was there. Like, and
Mm.
it was free. It was free to get delivered, and it's like this is $20, like bottle of medicine, like, and it
Mm.
was there, and like it probably cost more to drive it over than um
But isn't that a little scary? I think that that you are. um, you, I mean, you are happy to. I think instant delivery is fantastic. It's like we can also deliver food here. I mean, you order
Yeah.
online and you get food and medicine was supposed to be like that, but I think it's now it's
It's
overnight as well now.
it's even it's even worse because of the mentality that we have. And so
Mhm.
like here, right? So my wife is from Europe,
Mm,
and she kind of has that, like, let me go in and try stuff on,
mm.
uh and let me see if it fits, and this, and I'm like let me show you how we in America shop. Like, I'll go on Amazon and I'll order like 3 different sizes,
Mm,
and it'll all
yeah,
come at one
yeah,
time. And then I'll be like, okay, well, you can try on the extra small, the small, or the medium, or whatever. Um, and then we'll just take the other two back.
yeah.
And then so yeah, returns are insane here. And I mean, you have places that just process just the returns for Amazon. And then
Mm,
because the returns are such a big problem here, waste is insane, is
yeah.
insanely bad here. And it's cheaper for Amazon to throw the products away than it is for them to actually return it to the manufacturer.
Mm,
So what Amazon started doing, I don't know if this is Amazon's doing or third parties doing, but what they do is they go in and they approach Amazon and they say, "Hey, I want to buy all of your returns."
mm,
And then what they do is they essentially get pallets of Amazon returns, and then and you can go online and look and see, but then YouTubers or content creators are going online and buying Amazon return pallets
yeah,
and then opening them and seeing what's inside. And it's like you could buy Apple return pallets, or you could buy there's a place here up the street where you can go and it's just big boxes of Amazon returns, and this box is $3, this box is $2, this box is $5. And inside, the $5,
you
like
don't know.
you're getting like
You don't know what's inside, or just
uh,
buy
uh,
something for
it's
five
no
dollars.
it's yes, just a huge box of stuff. I mean, you can pick through it, and like, I mean, it's just the most random things. And it's like label makers, or it's like headphones, or it's like
Hmm,
I mean, little cameras, or like little like watch strap. I mean, it's just the most random stuff. And they have promotions too, where it's like you go on Sunday and everything is
hmm,
99 cents, and there is like, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter, even if it's like $100 product, it's 99 cents, you
hmm,
know. So waste is so insane here, and we've built that culture, right? Because people expect something immediately, right?
hmm,
Like, I remember when, and I still do this, I still enjoy to order something online and
hmm.
waiting weeks for it to come. Like, I enjoy that process of waiting.
Yeah.
Um, but also
Do
on
you
the other,
enjoy it? You do
I,
enjoy it.
I do
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But the American side of my brain is like, oh, I want this and I want it now. Like, give it to
Mm.
me like in 20 minutes. It's like, so I have these.
But it's also the kind of, I think it's of course we all want it instantly, and if you
Sure,
decided yes I want this dress or
sure,
whatever
sure,
and
sure.
you're like I can't wait, but actually it's the longing, and also the once you have finally chosen it, and the longing, it's kind of that kind of feeling is kind of nice, because if it's a little longer then you get even happier when it arrives. If it just you order it and it comes, you kind of miss that kind of like longing feeling in between.
I would agree. It's something because of the, I don't know if it's the way that culture shifted here.
Mm,
I mean, and I don't understand some of it. Like, I understand a lot of it because, like, let's just say I'm traveling, or I'm working on a
mm,
project, or I'm a filmmaker, so
yeah.
I always have to get new equipment in, or new lenses or new mics, and that's the type of stuff that, like, I need
Yeah,
immediately.
instant. Yes, of course.
Um, but then the sentimental things I wait for, you know.
Mm, yeah.
But yeah, and it's just an example, like, I had one of my mics got damaged, and I sent it off to be repaired versus I could have just went back to the store and returned it and got a brand new one
Mm.
immediately. But there's this weird kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but
Yeah.
in some instances I do, in some instances I don't. Um, but the
Yeah.
the cultural change has, I've noticed it, and it's been it's been weird. It's been weird for
Mm.
sure.
Mm.
Um,
But I think this kind of weight and it kind of like so we recently launched a little puzzle. It's a wooden jigsaw puzzle, and it's like handmade, and it's an illustration of. It's called Beautiful Everyday Mornings, but it's like a puzzle that has nothing to do with our alarm clocks. But it's kind of also a thing of very high quality. But it's also a thing when you do a jigsaw puzzle. It's kind of like you cannot sit and do different things. You have to concentrate,
yep.
and you can sit and chat to one another, and where's that blue, please, or whatever. It's a nice kind of being together and staying present. You cannot, you have to be present, and you have to be there when you do it. And it's also kind of like, you can do that. You can do the puzzle, and then it will stay there. It won't get I mean, it won't be destroyed if you leave it and you go for a walk, or you make your dinner, or you go for work, or whatever. It's you come back and it's still there, and you can continue. Uh, it,
Yeah.
it's another little thing. It's just a little bonus. It's just very limited, but it's in the same kind of quality that Båge Söner wants to bring into our lives.
Yeah, it seems like you're very focused not only just on building quality products, but also connecting your health and your mentality, or maybe health and soul. And then,
Mm.
I mean, puzzle, right? A puzzle is a great example, and I didn't know that you had created a product like that, but
Mm.
that's the type of product that you work on with your family. So,
Yeah.
it's something that can connect your family, right?
Yes.
Because we get lost in the world we live in. I mean, I'm doing this, I've got a million things going on. My wife is doing that.
Mm.
We're all crazy, running around like morons in this world, in a weird way.
Mm.
Um, but it is nice to have something that kind of brings us together and grounds us. So it seems like,
Mm.
your brand is more about that than anything else, like being grounded and being rooted, um, in a weird way. I get that feeling. It could be wrong, but just my outside perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. You are. I hope it's not in a too weird way. I mean, it's. I think. I think in the world that we live in now, I think it's. I mean, there's so many nasty things going on in the world, and it's nice for us all to rest our our brains and our
Yeah.
bodies, and just be here and now. Sleep when you want to sleep, or work when you work, or just stay a little present and present in the moment. So I think that the kind of word that I want to kind of get the feeling when you we haven't said it, it's kind of the jewel on your nightside table. It's kind of like my I want it to be the jewel on your nightside table that makes you feel, wow, you get a little, makes you a little happy, your little body there.
What
Um,
we our podcast is not only about the creative side of things, but we love the entrepreneurial side
mm,
of the business, and then it's all wrapped in horology.
mm.
So I have to ask, what has been the biggest challenge that you've faced, launching an alarm clock? a luxury product, a luxury
Mm.
analog product, let alone in a very modern digital world?
Mm. So the biggest challenge is actually um, to put the word. I mean, I had an idea exactly of how I wanted it to look, but to kind of actually bring it to life took a very long time, and to find the right movement, to find the right parts, to make the design and functionality work together. That was the biggest challenge. And then it takes a long time to bring, to actually to be someone out there in the world, to get people to get to know Båge and Söner. That's also I think now we've been on 4 years, and it's we have black numbers. I mean, making a small little last 2 years has been good, but the first 2 years were tougher. So I'm happy that I have a big, good family supporting me behind the scenes. Otherwise, my kids wouldn't get any food on the table.
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
that's important.
so yes, that is important. So I think those two things are very, to can actually build an alarm clock is really tough. And I know I spoke to one of Sweden's biggest company. I mean, it's known for it's called Svenskt Tenn, and that is on they make furniture and interior objects of very high quality and very typical Swedish design. Have you been there to the
I
shop
don't
in Stockholm?
think so. I may have. I may have, maybe
I will
not.
send you the link. It's a
Okay.
big inspiration, and they have beautiful things, and that is very Swedish, high quality. Everything that they do, and of course you can buy Båge Söner alarm clocks there. But they usually don't bring in other brands into their store. They make their own. They have Josef Frank, big designer, and Estrid Eriksson, who made all the patterns for everything that they do and make. Very modern, very cool, and very, very nice. And they tried to bring an alarm clock into life, but that's one of the few products that they couldn't succeed with. It's actually quite hard to do.
Wow.
So,
What advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are, you know, not necessarily bringing an alarm clock to market,
mm.
but you
Any
know, who,
product.
yeah, who are trying to start something, maybe a luxury product. Take some of the values that you have, being,
Mm.
artisanal, high quality, and are just faced with a bunch of challenges. What advice
Mm.
would you say to them?
I've been very, I think, you know, it will take time. So have time, time frame in your body, but be, talk to people and talk to people, to others that are doing the same like you do. I have a friend who are acquaintance from start, and she did Eldvarm, and she has been big inspiration for me. So find your inspiration. They make fire things for the fireplace. Uh, so find your inspiration in the people, from people around you, or just any star that you like. So for me, Eldvarm, Louise Varre has been very big, a big inspiration for me. Uh, but also like Tyler Brûlé has been a big inspiration for me too. He is international. He knows quality and originality when he sees it. He is very big fan of design. And I think go for quality, and also of course it has to be functional. You have to make it work. And maybe if you continue on one path and you're like trying to make it work, but there's always a way. There's always a way, so you have to be stubborn. But maybe it won't go the same path that you were thinking. Maybe you have to go the path take a little turn, and then you will get there.
Yeah, I come from a family of serial entrepreneurs, and I did
Mm,
a podcast of entrepreneurship. And I don't remember where I heard this, but if it was my dad or my mom or I mean,
mm,
everybody in my family has their own business. But being an entrepreneur is like making a walkway through a forest. Like you're
mm,
paving the way or creating a trail for other people
yeah.
to follow.
Mm,
And as you're walking through the forest, you're getting hit in the head with branches and all this,
yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
that's what I think it was my father that told me something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
But every time somebody asks me about that, I'm like, like if you just stop walking, like, you're still gonna be stuck in the middle of the forest, so you got to keep walking.
You just keep on walking. That's great. Yeah, absolutely. But I must say also, one of my biggest inspiration and biggest supporters is of course my husband, and he's a fantastic entrepreneur as well. But he has one little um, one thing that he says sometimes, because I worry a lot, and it's like 98% of worrying is just waste of time. So stop worrying and just go.
That
Uh,
is
and I
great
think that's
advice.
a very good advice, actually. It is
Where
true.
where do you see Borga and Soner in the next 5, 10, years, decades? Are you working on new designs, new collaborations? Do you guys have some tricks up your sleeve?
Yes, I think we have a few more products up our sleeve. We have absolutely some new collaborations going on, international collaborations with maybe an artist. Maybe we have clocks everywhere in the world, and for all types of uh, of there could be a wall clock, could be other type of products that improves your life quality at home, but there's always very, very high with nice quality and nice design. And I
Nice.
hope, of course, that today we have a new workshop that we're going to move to, which I'm so happy and pleased about. And of course, I hope to open up a workshop in the US eventually, and to expand my business, because we are very big in the US. Actually, it's one of our biggest markets. So I hope Mr. Trump don't put up too many big wars. I would say, uh,
Tariffs.
yeah, tariffs and stuff.
That
Let's see.
that's a whole nother podcast episode about
Yeah. No,
uh,
we'll see. For now, we are
where,
dealing what we have today.
right. Yeah,
So my,
my we've got this stream that we do, and yesterday the topic of discussion was like Swiss watches, watch exports, imports, like what are the tariffs
Mm,
going to do? And I'm like,
mm,
I don't even want to talk about that. Right? It's just
no,
not a
it's not.
topic I prefer to
No,
talk about.
it's not. We say 98% of worrying is just a
Yeah,
waste of time. So
yeah,
let's.
like your husband said,
We
yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
What
So no point.
if you could do, and maybe this has already happened based on
Mm,
your previous answer, but if you could design a clock like with a dream, like if you could do a dream collaboration,
mm.
what would that look like, or who would that be with?
Oh, that's a very tricky one. I'd love to do something of a completely different. Could be like a Missoni, or something like another totally different brand, but would do. We could do something fun together. Um, they also family-owned company, which I think are doing. They have their distinguished roots, and you could immediately see what a Amazoni is. I think that's a very something to I admire that. So that would be very cool. Also, there is a French designer that I think is doing very cool design, and she is called, oh gosh, now I forgot the name. She is called, very cool. She's done restaurants and stuff, and she makes furniture, and I can write you the name in a little while.
Yeah.
It'll come to me.
That's the way it always happens.
Yes, I lost it. But they were very cool. But maybe we could also do a little pillow mist, or scent would be nice. But we're thinking of different products. But I think in terms of branding, it's very important to know what you want to, the things that come out from Båge and Söner should still rhyme with what we stand for.
Very important to keep your core values and
to keep the core values very
and make sure there's consistency among the products, and make sure the way that I think about a brand and a company, a product, is like every product needs to kind of, and you look at Apple as like a case study, like every product is an expansion on the previous product, or has utility that intertwines with the previous product. So, maybe it's just me, but keeping that kind of mythos, that strategy is very challenging, to say, hey, this is an expansion on our current alarm clocks, or this has the same application or utility or whatever. And so, yeah, it just becomes challenging. And I've seen have you seen, you've probably seen the mechanical wristwatches that have like minute repeaters and alarms and stuff like that. Have you seen those before?
What do you mean mini repeaters? You mean not the ones that are both mechanical and digital? No, not those.
No. So they're mechanical, but they have an alarm function built into a wristwatch.
Yes. I've seen those. Yes.
So like, for example, GG Lecourt has what they call the memo box, and essentially it's an alarm complication that you set the alarm on it, and it's just got a little bell that rings with like, but I can't remember if it was.
Philippe also has one.
Yeah, a lot of brands have like a minute repeater. It's a very, very, very like high-end complication. But I can't remember if it was JLC or Patek, but they came out with like like a little like phonograph or something or whatever. So anyways, the whole concept is you put your watch on it, the minute repeater, and then it amplifies the alarm.
So it will speak,
it makes it louder.
Wow,
It's
cool.
like it captures the sound and it makes the sound travel out. So like something that just came to mind is like, they were faced with that whole process of like, hey, people want to use their alarm to wake up, right? And so boom, a new product was born. Kind of cool. What would you say is one item besides an alarm clock, obviously, that everyone should have in their bedroom?
Besides an alarm clock, I love to have a book to write my notes on. Either it could be a diary, or just things that to do tomorrow, to-do list, or things that I've been experiencing during the day. So I usually have like one of these, like, this is just nothing that we do, but like, one of these, no lines, no nothing. And then I write. That is something that I love to have on my nightside table. Also, if you have something that you worry about, when you put it, you put it in writing, it's kind of easy. I get it off my chest. And plus it's there, so I remind myself tomorrow I won't forget it. So that's something too.
It's so weird how I started to think about all these things I used to do. Like I used to journal, I used to write.
Mm.
Um, and I have a million pens here, but I think the only time I use a pen and now it's such a shame to say, but it's when I'm signing the back of checks, to mobile
Yeah,
deposit.
really. You know what
Yeah.
I recently started? My new thing is that I started crosswording before I go to sleep.
Uh, that's fun though. That's
Yeah,
fun.
could be fun. It's a little bit
That's
of brain gymnastics. I don't know.
there you
I do
go.
the simple ones because I'm not so brainy, but
That's
they
right.
make me feel, yeah. It's better to have those easy ones that you feel that you are. So you don't feel too too. They should be easy to solve.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
get a good flow and you feel a bit, not so bad after all.
Well, we have taken
Mhm.
so much of your time, and I have one final question, and this is
Mhm.
probably the hardest one out of all of them.
Ooh.
But if you could look back into history and give a Borga and Soner clock to anyone in history, who would it be and why?
Hmm. Oh. One of my most favorite historical people is Winston Churchill. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yes. Um, he made everybody, I mean, it was not looking great for them, but he filled everybody with hope and fighting spirit. So maybe he would need an alarm clock to rest a little bit in between those. He had a very busy life during the Second World War. He was a very, it, he, I think he was one important part of turning the World War II to where we landed today. I think that's my personal opinion, maybe.
I
But it would be fun to make him have one. But yeah. There are many big historical people, but we should I don't shouldn't have like a Pablo Picasso who could paint one of the Båge Söner, maybe.
It's like melting off the table. Borga and Soner. There you go. That's gonna be something for your new office to have somebody
Uh,
paint one melting off the table in a
yes.
Picasso form.
I
Um,
have actually my brother who is a painter who's doing all our did you see inside your little booklet there's a little
yeah,
drawing in the last page?
yeah, I did. It was very
Yeah,
cool. All
that's
the illustrations
yeah.
inside.
Yeah, all the illustrations is made by my brother, who is an artist called Gustav von Arbin. So I have three brothers actually, and three sons and a husband, lots of boys around me. Mm,
I when I wrote this question,
mm,
I was thinking in my mind, and I don't want to answer obviously for you,
mm.
but I was thinking like a full circle moment where you're gonna say grandma.
Yes,
Imagine.
it would make her so proud. My grandma and my grandfather, he was also an entrepreneur. He would be so proud. And my grandmother, she would have loved the French kiss. The French kiss is for her. It's the French colors of blue and white and red, and that's kind of that was one of my first models, and it's a little tribute to her.
She is proud.
Mm,
She
yes,
wouldn't be. She is proud.
I hope so.
She definitely
I
is.
hope so. Yes, she was always on time and very chic and always very considerate of me and my yeah. Always very happy to talk to her and my grandfather Harry. They were good
Um,
inspiration.
Amazing. I
Mm.
want to thank you for spending almost an hour and 20 minutes with us. I think we have an amazing podcast episode. I cannot wait for this to be distributed. Um, Obviously, I have one of your alarm clocks. I've been showing it throughout the whole course of the YouTube
Yeah,
video.
thank you.
I am going to be working on a YouTube video for this.
Wow.
So expect me to make some content about this. Because in my the pictures just don't do it justice. So hopefully I can do it some justice with the video and share my experience with what it's been like to actually be an owner of one of these alarm clocks. So expect that to happen very soon in the coming weeks. And if you've listened to this, if you're listening to this podcast, it may already be out by now, but expect that, and hopefully we can get down to Sweden, to Stockholm, and spend some time with
Yes.
you, and once you've moved into your new facility, and also work on more video content there with you, because we are always looking for ways to get more fresh, unique content. Um, I might be the only watch content, horology content creator to do something about an alarm, like a table alarm clock. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anybody else do it. So, but as somebody who loves horology, we can't forget about these things. So, I appreciate me. I appreciate you gifting me one.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me on the show. And I do look forward to see what you do to make of how you film your afternoon delight.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure for me to be speaking to you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and we will talk to you very
Yeah.
soon.
And come and visit.
I will. I
Yes.
promise. I
Yes.
promise. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.